Hi there, welcome back. In this video, I'm going over the 5 steps to do your employee payroll yourself. Now, this video is going to be an overview of the steps of doing payroll because there are a lot of little nuanced steps to payroll, and it can be easy to get confused and overwhelmed in the weeds of all that. If you're new here, I'm the business finance coach, and I simplify technicalities of business like this to help you succeed. So let's jump in. The 5 steps to get set up to pay employees, whether these are employees that are working for you or it's yourself as an owner in an S Corp or C Corp business, you must pay yourself as an employee. I have a lot of other videos on all that, so be sure to check them out if you have questions. Step 1 to doing employee payroll yourself is to get set up and registered with federal and state agencies. So there are 5 registrations that you're going to need to do. And if you have employees working in more than one state, keep in mind that you'll also need to add on a few more registrations for each state. The first 2 of these registrations is for your federal EIN number, which you might already have gotten that when you registered your business. And the second one is for the EFTPS system, which is how you make payments for payroll taxes. And then the other registrations are going to be with your state so that you can pay state income taxes for your employees, as well as workers' safety and insurance programs and unemployment. When you do these registrations, be sure to take notes. You can see this checklist is from my course, Paying Workers and Owners, and it has boxes so that as you go through and do these registrations, you can take notes on your login information and your filing requirements, because requirements can be a little different from state to state, and it can be easy to get confused between all these registrations. Each of these registrations are typically going to give you a registration number that you're going to need. Now, if you use a software, I do recommend using a software called Gusto to do your payroll, and it has a nice checklist. It's very user-friendly. It walks you through taking these steps. However, you can do it yourself. The second step in doing your payroll is to calculate payroll and understand your costs as the employer so you know what you're going to pay your workers. So you can see this is my Paying Workers and Owners spreadsheet template. This spreadsheet on the first worksheet has a calculation to walk you through understanding payroll taxes and what it's going to cost you to pay someone. If you are the owner of an S Corp setting up payroll, I do have some other really cool tools to help you determine exactly what amount you should be paying yourself. I'm not going to go into detail about this payroll calculation in this video, but check out my next video where I take you in detail into this spreadsheet and the calculations for payroll taxes. Step number 3 is actually running payroll. So this is when you're going to calculate how much you're going to pay an employee for the paycheck. You're going to withhold the taxes that you're required to withhold on their behalf, and then pay them the net amount. Then you also need to set aside the taxes that you owe on that paycheck so that you're sure not to spend them on accident. Then step 4 is to make deposits of all those taxes that you withheld and you owe on your paychecks, and deposit them according to the requirements. So there are things called deposit schedules, and deposit schedules determine how often you have to make deposits. So there are requirements from yearly deposits down to daily deposits. And all of these are based on the total amount of taxes you owe. So once you owe $100,000 in a day, you have to deposit all of those taxes the next day. Now, so for most of my small business owners, you'll be able to either make deposits quarterly with our 5th step that we're going to talk about next, or more likely monthly. Depending on your amounts, though, that you could end up needing to do deposits bi-weekly. And that brings us to step number 5, which is filing quarterly payroll tax forms with federal and state governments. So the federal payroll tax form is called Form 941, and you file this quarterly. It's due by the end of the month the last day of the month following the quarter. So quarter one is January, February, March. And then your 941 form is going to have all your payroll numbers for that quarter. And it's due by the end of the month in April. And it just continues on that way throughout the year. State agencies tend to follow the same filing due dates as well. But be sure to check because they don't have to. So that's all for the 5 steps to get set up to do payroll. I wanted this to be an overview video. To recap, step 1 is getting set up and getting registered with federal and state agencies. Step 2 is calculating the payroll taxes and understanding how that calculation works and what it's going to cost you to pay an employee whatever amount you're going to pay them. Number 3 is running payroll, which is when you actually pay the worker, withhold the taxes, and set aside the taxes you're going to owe. Step 4 is depositing all those taxes. And step 5 is filing your quarterly payroll tax forms with Fed and state. Okay, so that's all. I hope you find this video helpful. If you want to get a hold of any of the resources I went over in this video, be sure to check out the link for my Paying Workers and Owners course. And I also included a link if you want help doing your payroll. You can use a software like Gusto, which I highly recommend. I have other videos going over that software, and I do have a link for Gusto in the description down below where you'll get a gift card for signing up with my link for at least $100. Okay, so I'd love to hear any questions and comments you have down below this video. If you're new to the Business Finance Coach, please join me and follow or subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.